Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're making breakfast, one of my favorite breakfasts. I think a lot of people don't make this at home because of the sauce that goes on it, and that's hollandaise. So yes, we are making a Benedict, but we're not making Eggs Benedict, we're making Eggs Royale. And you might be going, what do you mean? What's the difference? Eggs Benedict. So Eggs Benedict is typically English muffin with a little ham and a poached egg and your hollandaise on top. Well, Eggs Royale and Eggs Florentine are two other offerings that are in this kind of Eggs Benedict category, if you will, just trying to keep it simple. Eggs Royale, you substitute that ham for smoked salmon. That's all. That's the difference. Now you've got Eggs Royale. Eggs Florentine, you're substituting that ham for sauteed spinach, which is also delicious, and then your poached egg and your hollandaise. That's all. So basically it's that what you're putting on top of the English muffin, whether it be ham, smoked salmon, or sauteed spinach, defines which one of these dishes you're having: Eggs Benedict, Eggs Royale, or Eggs Florentine. And today we're making my favorite. I'm a huge fan of smoked salmon, whether it's on a bagel or on Eggs Royale. And so I wanted to make this today and share it with you all. The most important reason was to show you the method I use for making what I think is a pretty easy, pretty simple, very tasty hollandaise. So let's jump into that first. Okay, making a hollandaise, it's a delicious sauce. You can use it a lot of ways, but it's most popular on an Eggs Benedict type dish, Eggs Royale this morning. Pretty simple as far as ingredients. We're going to have some egg yolks, not the whites. We're going to have some butter. We're going to have a little salt, a little cayenne pepper, and a little lemon juice. You could use a fresh lemon. Some people do. I'm just going to go with a little squeeze of lemon juice. It'll get me where I want to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to melt our butter. We're going to take these 2 half sticks of butter. So we're going to end up using 1 full stick of butter for this particular recipe. And I'll put all the measurements down below for what I'm using. We're going to take this, we're going to throw it in the microwave, and we're going to pulse it, meaning like 30-second runs of warming this up until we get this butter completely melted. Now while that's going in the background, we're going to go ahead and start separating our egg yolks from the egg whites. So we're just going to crack an egg and separate. You guys have figured out already one of my favorite sayings: separate that bad boy, right? I don't know why. I've been editing and watching my videos. I say bad boy a lot. Let's get this bad boy going. I don't know, just something I do. All right, so 1 down, second one pretty much done, and 3 done. Let's go check our butter. Okay, 30 seconds in, not too much going on there, so we're going to put it back in for another 30 seconds. All right, these egg whites, you can use them, save them, make an egg white omelet. I don't typically do that. If I were doing something where I needed some egg whites to fluff up something I was baking, I might keep them, but that's just me, folks. I mean, really, do I look like I eat an egg white omelet? Man, give me the yolks every single time. All right, let's check that butter again. Now we're getting there, and I think we're at a point here. There's a little pieces of the butter left in there, but I think at this point it'll continue to melt. So we're just gonna set that right there. We'll come back to it when we get ready to start making this. All right, so butter's done. What we're gonna do here real quick is just get our eggs. We wanna get these where we get a little bit of air in them. So we're gonna kind of whisk these pretty harshly for a few seconds. Now, I will tell you, when you're making a hollandaise, it's a lot of that, what you just saw. So be ready to, be working with your hands, Michael, and get in there and really whisk that, because what we don't want to have happen is when you start getting this on the heat, we don't want these eggs to cook. So you've got to continuously be working these. If you let them sit for just 3 or 4 seconds, they're going to start to set and start to cook. We don't want that. The other thing I'll say is I'm using a technique that I learned a lot of years ago from watching a YouTube guy, Food Wishes, John. He cooks his or makes his hollandaise right over the burner. He does not use the double boiler method. And man, I really liked that technique and I wanted to try it years ago. And I did. And it is just the best. So it's a lot of on the heat, off the heat, on the heat, off the heat, continuing to whisk it in. But to me, at the end of the day, it's a lot easier. Maybe a little more risky, but time-wise, it's quicker, and the results are fantastic. All right, you can see our eggs. Got some little bubbles. You can see the tinier bubbles if you can get in there. So we've got this to a spot where I'm happy. Let's go to the burner and start making some hollandaise. First thing we need to do is let's turn this burner on. And we're going to turn this down to really low. And we're not going to let this sit at all. Right when we start to put this pan, this bowl, on the heat, we need to be whisking. So we're going to go on, and we're just going to start whisking. And then we're going to come off the heat, and we're going to come in with a little bit of our butter. Not too much. And this is a process. You're going to go a little at a time. I'm going to whisk this in. And then I'm going to come back on the heat. And then we're going to come back with a little more butter. Come off the heat. Now we're going to come in with a little bit of lemon juice to taste. I just do a couple, 3 squirts. You got it. Then we'll come back on the heat. We're going to come in with a little bit of a pinch of salt, and we're going to come in with a little cayenne pepper. Oh, the best seasoning in the world. Let's go back on the heat. And we are getting close to that being done. And that, ladies and gentlemen, this will, when it cools down, it'll tighten up just a little bit, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. That's going to be our hollandaise. All right, we've got our hollandaise sitting. It's going to sit pretty good. It'll tighten up. What we may have to do is just a splash of water to kind of loosen it and get it to the consistency when we're ready to put it on our eggs. But let's move on to those eggs. Poached eggs. This is another thing I think that makes people a little intimidated, a little reluctant to make this dish. Poaching eggs. If you haven't already, like the video if you would. Hit that notification bell. You get notified when we put out new videos. And more importantly, hit that subscribe button, man. Really need it. Looking to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you could smash that for me, I really appreciate it. Poaching eggs is not that hard. I mean, I kind of think of it like a cup of coffee. When you make a cup of coffee in the morning, the way you do it with your pour-overs and things, is it absolutely perfect every time? No. But is it absolutely delicious every time? Yes. Poached eggs, to me, are very similar. The one thing you don't want to do with poached eggs is overcook. Undercook a little bit, fine. Runny yolk, still good. But overcooking with a hard yolk, that defeats the purpose of a poached egg where you get that creamy yolk coming out that you enjoy over your dish. So We're going to poach some eggs. I'm going to get some water in here, get it hot to this kind of light boil, and then we'll show you what we're doing. All right, we got our water. We're going to turn it on, turn the burner up to medium high, close to high, and let this start to come to a boil. We'll watch it because we don't want it to be a full boil. We want it to be where we start to see these bubbles starting where it's just before that boiling point. We'll turn the heat back down, and then we'll get ready to poach these eggs. Once we get our water where we want it to be, we're going to put a splash of vinegar in there as well. I'd be lying to you if I told you I know exactly why you do this when you make poached eggs, but you do. I do. Comes out good. I'll keep putting vinegar. All right, as I said, I'm going to go with a couple of English muffins for these Eggs Benedict. That's what we're going to use. And then I've just got from my H-E-B here, my grocery store here in town, some smoked salmon, traditionally smoked salmon, cold smoke, right? That's that smoked salmon. And that'll go on making us this dish we call Eggs Royale. All right, we can see in the water, it's starting to get to that little bubbles coming where we're almost to that boiling point. So we're going to get ready to go ahead and put a splash of vinegar in here. Now you can use any pan that you want. You could use a saucepan that's a little taller if you're doing 1 or 2 eggs. This has become my kind of my poaching pan. I'm able to get 6 or 7 eggs in here when I cook them for the family, so it's convenient. I just like the way it cooks, so I continue to use it. All right, we got a couple more minutes. Let's get our eggs ready. All right, let's get our eggs ready for the water. And you don't want to just crack an egg right into this. So we got to have some finesse, a little delicacy when we do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to pre-crack these eggs into 3 little dishes. You don't have to save these whites because it's going to fall off anyway. So put all 3 of them in here. And then what we want to do is to be able to gently pour this into our water, which is going to help this kind of land softly, start to cook on the bottom, and then hopefully release where we have this egg kind of poaching where it's completely covered by the water. So let's go back here. I think our water is ready. Let's get ready to put our eggs in. Yeah, I think we're looking really good. We got these little bubbles coming. I'm going to probably touch it up a little bit. We're going to go for about 3.5 minutes on this cook when we get the eggs in. I'll set a timer for 3 minutes and we'll just kind of be pretty close after that. So here we go. So you can see our eggs are in. We got our timer back here in the left corner going. Whoops, get my finger out of the way for focus. So you got a couple minutes. We'll come back and check these eggs. To get our eggs off, I'm just going to get a paper towel on a plate and we'll pull the eggs out, let them sit while we get ready to build this plate. All right, there's our poached eggs, looking pretty good. Let's get ready to plate up. We got to finish cooking a couple of English muffins, and we're going to plate this, and let's give it a bite. So as I told you, you just saw me put a little water in there. That's because as it sits, like anything, it cools and tightens up, but that just loosens it just a little bit, and I think we've got it in a pretty good spot now. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's take it over and build. All right, here's our hollandaise. Looking pretty good. Okay, so we got our hollandaise looking really good. We've got our poached eggs, smoked salmon, and our English muffins. So let's build this thing. All right, we got some smoked salmon. Let's just take some of this and start to build. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, then we're gonna grab our eggs. We're gonna gently grab an egg, slide it right on top. Just like that. Then we're gonna come in with our hollandaise. Just loosen this up a little bit. Grab a spoon, and we're just going to grab this. Get our hollandaise on top, but we're not done. Got to finish it with our favorite seasoning, the cayenne pepper. So we're just going to go over the top a little bit. And that's our Eggs Royale. Tell me that doesn't look good. Now you could finish this if you wanted some, chopped chives on top. I guess you could put a little parsley if you wanted. I'm a guy that's simple, so less is more. Just give me the flavor I know I really want, which is this cayenne pepper, that creamy egg. So that's what we're doing. What do you say we dive in and take a bite? All right, let me grab a little knife and a little fork. And hopefully this egg hasn't overcooked. But either way, I'm gonna eat it. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh, that looks good. That looks really good. All right, let's go in and take a bite. Let's see. I gotta tell you, I don't know if there's a better bite in breakfast. That is absolutely delicious. If I could add one thing, might be a glass of bubbles, a little champagne washing down the richness of that yolk with a little acidity on a great glass of champagne. That would pair perfectly with this right now. Otherwise, great breakfast. Not hard to make at home. If you're not making Eggs Benedict, Eggs Florentine, Eggs Royale at home, not that hard. You really should give it a shot. Your family's gonna think you're one heck of a cook. If you enjoyed making this dish for you this morning, Eggs Royale, one of my favorites. I hope you enjoy it too. Let me know in the comments if you make this dish at home. See you guys on the next one.